After getting to 2300 as a Prot Warrior, I'm pretty sure I'm about fed up with the experience. I just started playing Blood DK a lot more, and compared to Prot Warrior, it feels kind of night and day. Like my experience as a Prot Warrior has just been that I'm like a helpless meat shield that I have to depend on the entire team to do what they have to do to actually succeed in the key. And there's just like so many terrible things that happen. And after playing DK, it feels like none of that is a problem anymore. Now I had compared Prot Warrior with Brewmaster Monk and said that there were like these trade-offs that you had to keep in mind, but Blood DK seems to cover kind of all the bases, at least for like, routine pug keys and even like intermediate keys that are like half pug. So I think I'm gonna go over a few things I noticed. Maybe I'll just recap quickly first. My current experience with Warrior. One of the things I really, really hate about Warrior is that you don't have any tools for mob control. Like in this pull right here, I've got to like do all this leaping and jumping around just to make sure I've got aggro on everybody before I start the encounter because no one else is really thinking about that in a pug setting. So I can't pull anyone over. I can't do any ranged kicks. And in this first pull in HOA, there's always two caster mobs, so I've got to make a pick, and it's like it's never an enjoyable experience on the warrior. It's everything from like pulling mobs to kiting when you have to kite. So in this second example, like things start to get pretty dicey. So I shockwave, I thunderclap them, which is my only snare, and I just run. And they're running at me at pretty much full speed at this point. I can't do anything about the caster, obviously. No one's going to kick them. So eventually I just have to run back in when I have some rage and take them again. If I don't do that, then people can't damage them, so we can't kill them. And yeah, my options for mob control are just really, really limited. So after we kill a few people here, just to add insult to injury, we're doing this pull. I start to tank the Brave Darkblade. Braun comes in, hits the Darkblade into Sanguine, and then we all just look at it in Sanguine because like I can't do anything about it. So like that's that, right? When you're a warrior, you just hope your teammates actually do some stuff that they can do. And in this next pull, which is right after the previous pull in the same dungeon, we're killing this Houndmaster. Houndmaster out of nowhere just back jumps into where the Sanguine Puddle is going to be, and then we all have to stand there and look at the Houndmaster. I think the Hunter has like, explosive shot or whatever it is to knock him out, but it doesn't happen, of course. And I can't do anything except run around and try and bait them back outwards. So compare that run. I think that was a 20. I think this is like a 19 on the DK. I mean, like, I just walk in, I yoink the caster over, and I start like living my life. It's as simple as that. I can interrupt things from range. I can stun people from range. I can slow on demand when I want to kite. I can just kite. I've got, worse damage, of course, but it's not terrible. Like I'm doing like 13k over here as Venthyr when I have Storming Mist and Bonestorm up. But look, right again, I just the cast goes off for the dogs, and I drop a Death and Decay, and I kite, and it's like I'm in full control of all of that. Just as more evidence of the kite difference here, we're cleaning up a pull. We've got a couple of Gargons that are getting kind of bolstered over here, so I head over to the Houndmaster and I slow them because I anticipate Loyal Beast coming, but it doesn't get casted. But eventually that thing will die, so now they're double bolstered. This Houndmaster is about to die and give them triple bolster, so I can just sit back at range, infinitely slow them with Chains of Ice, which is like a pretty hefty slow. It's like 70% slow, if I recall. And I'm completely safe. Like, as a warrior right now, I'd be kiting in circles, praying that they, don't reach me or someone boops them away. But, yeah, it's like just the difference is night and day. And over here, another example of gathering up caster mobs. So this pull has two casters. You can sometimes get lucky because they kind of naturally group up there, but, like, I don't have to worry about that anymore. I just yoink the caster over, I do a range interrupt on the other caster, and it's all me. Yeah, right there, ranged. It's all done. Okay, so kiting is an obvious and well-established advantage to a DK over a warrior, but Another semi-obvious one is, how useful grip can be. And Echelon is a perfect fight to demonstrate that. Like, they always end up in random spots, the ads in the middle of the fight. So just being able to yoink one over into a certain spot is like a night and day difference in the fight. When they're all spread out, I'm sure people understand that, they go wherever they go because people hit them by mistake or take aggro because they're healing or, whatever the case may be. And even when they aren't so, nice and tidy, like in this pull, they're going all over the place. You have Gorfine's Grasp to just yoink them all into a single spot. And there hasn't been like a single use of Gorfine's Grasp where I didn't stop and be like, oh my god, that's so nice to be able to do. You can do it everywhere from like, urns in DOS to, Echelon's fight to, there's never like a bad time to Gorfine's Grasp. You can yoink them all out of Sanguine into a back mob or something. It's been like very, very convenient. Another good example of, the convenience and utility benefits you get from DK relative to Warrior is all of Explosive Week, in my experience so far. I really hate explosives, but I can just effortlessly get them, with either Heart Strike or Death's Caress, like I'm doing right here. I'm just like ranged, insta destroying the explosives, like all over the place. I think I get literally every explosive in this pull. And with the Pug, it's like sometimes the healer gets it, sometimes not, and in my experience, usually not. But the difference here between DK and Warrior is that like the opportunity cost a Warrior suffers for helping out with explosives is way bigger than that of a DK, because you don't have spammable moves that you can always just do on demand. You have your heroic throw, but there's a minimum range to it, and often these explosives spawn around you. So you have to use your shield bash, or your shield slam, which is like a lot of damage for killing explosive. Whereas Heart Strike, it's like probably like 1,000 damage on the explosive, which is not that much at all relative to a 2.5k to 6k shield slam. And you're cleaving on your Heart Strike anyway, so you still hit every other mob with Heart Strike. In the Indefinite Decay, you still cleave onto 5 other mobs. You just you waste 1/5 of it on the explosive, and your DK damage is pretty bad anyway, so it's not a huge deal. And this pull in Spires, this is that super dangerous pull before the second boss. And this run in particular, it started to go south pretty quickly. I think 2 people end up dying, the healer and one of the DPS. I think it's just like unlucky casts and standing and stuff, and unlucky stormings. But as any other tank, so yeah, right now the shaman is about to die, unfortunately. But as any other tank, as a warrior or as a brewmaster, like I'm gonna die instantly at this point. But as a DK, I can just like finish off the entire thing myself and convert this what would have been a wipe and like tons of time for the whole team flying back on angels into just a slight loss. Like obviously it's not ideal to have 2 people die, but if they do, I can actually live and do something. And you can see like I'm at like 10 health like the entire pull. It's kind of nuts actually. This is the pull that made me think like, wow, this is really powerful. I'm down to like 3k there, but it's not just like it's not totally lucked. The like you have like one move that makes you take 30% reduced damage below 30%, and the Covenant ability gets you 10% reduced damage under 40%. So at that point, I'm taking like 40% reduced damage from like the entire thing. So your effective HP pool is pretty massive. So yeah, like we live, right? That's like a ton of time savings from what would have happened otherwise. And a couple more honorable mentions. The first fight of Theater of Pain, that stealth guy that pops up, you can actually use a grip every single time to get rid of him right there. And you can also use your range interrupt to kick people back into the group, so you don't have to depend on the DPS doing that, because they never ever do ever. You might cut the cost of you not kicking during pain, but the DPS gain, I think, on like a normal Pug key would be well worth it. And another thing that you can do is use your Control Undead to negate the inspiring affix. So here I'm just going to use it on Theater of Pain to take control of this ancient captain. So that will give your whole group like a 2% damage buff and like a 5% avoidance boost for AoE damage, just by you controlling him. But Control Undead actually comes in really handy in a bunch of dungeons. Like in Necrotic Wake, all of the necromancers have these AoE mage casters, and you can take control of all of them, and they just die. You can dismiss them, and they'll just like insta die. So Control Undead also gets a fair bit of use, and most of the mobs that end up inspiring are undead in at least Necrotic Wake. And of course, you can use your Death's Advance to negate a lot of movement effects on you. So, for example, Cold Heart has this giant, beam knockback. You could pop Death Advance in front of your teammate to fool him into not moving out of the way and just take it. This actually comes in handy for serious reasons, though, on like Theater of Pain's platforms where you might get blown off the edge. There's like a lot of weird tech you can do with Death's Advance. And last but not least, you get access to Warrior Transmogs. So that's something, right? I mean, this Legion legendary actually goes pretty well with some of the transmogs. So I found actually that the Death Knight appearances are a little lacking. Like if you check out, like the major sets from the last couple of expansions, there's a couple of the easy things you have access to, like the PvP stuff. There's like two or three good sets there, but I don't know. I don't find like most of them being that interesting. Like, I'm not really too into the one from Argus, which is probably like the coolest one you have access to. The Tomb of Sargeras one looks kind of weird to me. At least on a Tauren. That's probably what it is. It's probably like a Tauren thing. But you have access to this one. But after these two, like the picks were kind of slim. But yeah, so the point, I guess, is that if you're playing Warrior and you're feeling kind of frustrated that your teammates aren't pitching in where they should be, you might consider going something like Blood DK or Monk to make them not required. Blood DK is like the epitome of making them not required. Like Monk is actually really nice as well, but just compared to Blood DK, like not even needing a healer, like you can like almost do everything on your own, and then like the team is like completely liberated to just do damage, which is all you want to count on them for when you're not in a group of people anyway. So yeah, I will be probably not sticking with Prot Warrior, unfortunately, after pushing so far with him, but hopefully this helps someone. See you later.